Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm hanging out with special guest Dejota, and I'll put him. We're keen and excited to be chatting all things Splinterlands and even some reminiscing about some old experiences at Splinterfest and hopefully Splinterfest to come. I heard Aftersound today talking about he did that After Dark like last year somewhere. Dejota, did you hear about that? And or were you one of the ones that went out that way?
No, I mean, yes, I did hear about it, but no, I unfortunately wasn't one of those people. I would have loved to have been.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I'll be able to get to it
Yeah,
after.
he was talking about Philadelphia, and unless crypto good does what I think we're hoping it will, I would be a no. But man, it would be so neat to see him again and to see people like yourself. And you sent me that Vegas picture today on the escalator. Hey, that was
Yeah,
what a clutch shot. I'm gonna pull it up. Was that
I
where'd you
know.
send
You
that? Was
got
it
that?
you send it on Discord or where did you send that
That
one?
was in Discord. Yeah, Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, beast. Look at these faces. Jim, the Captain Morgan. There's me. Um, there's Dejota over there. In the back
Yeah.
there, that's my buddy from high school, Mike. And I'm sure some of these are Splinterheads too. I recognize this face, but I don't remember his name. I recognize this
Yeah.
face, but I don't remember his name.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta give props though to your buddy Mike for real.
yeah,
Like just coming and hanging out with a good friend at something that like he's not really a part of, and
yeah,
he was awesome. Like he was like the life of the party.
yeah. He's a fun guy. He's
Yeah.
definitely a sort of guy who will like. He's a big gamer. We're collectible card gamers together, and so play board games. We go once a month. Him and me and one or two other guys, maybe three other guys, will get together, and we're playing a lot of PS5 Helldivers. I don't know if you know that one. Do you play any games?
I have a PS5, but I'm not super active on it.
Yeah.
But I haven't played Helldivers.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, he's so crazy about it too. He's such a host that he has like his PS5 on this massive screen. He also has this like gamer laptop queued up with all the games. So like you got two screens in this one living room, and we both play. Like so we find each other, and it's cross-platform. But anyways, yeah, great guy, good people. That was so much fun, and I would love it if Aftersound's the guy that would pull something like that together, and I would love to see it happen. If
Yeah.
it was, if there was any bull market that was touching me, I would love to explore that and see if it was possible. Because man, it was so much fun getting to know you, hanging out in the hotel room. Like some of the guys were drinking, and there was who was there? There was so many
No,
big.
Steve was there. Steve came by. Yeah, there was a bunch of people. I mean, obviously Jim was there. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
But anyway, like, yeah, we just like had a good time, just like hanging out and getting to know each other. Like, you talk to these people like online for years,
yeah,
and like, I consider like a lot of people in this community like good friends. But when you actually like have a chance to like meet face to face, it like really solidifies that.
yeah, totally, 100%.
Yeah.
And it was so neat walking in and like having community members that you like for that like meeting Nate was really like seeing him around, and Cryptomancer and Matt. Actually, Matt was a guy I was a little bit like fanboying over. I'm never I've met celebrities, and I just kind of don't care about meeting celebrities, but
Yeah.
with Matt and to a lesser extent Aggie, I just felt this like, wow, you created something like I really think is special. And I didn't say anything silly or fanboy or ask for autographs or anything like that. I just said hi and respectfully like introduced and said how much I appreciate what they've done. But to be honest, like meeting Matt was like, wow, like you, because I remember even back in the Steemit days, pre-Hive, pre-Steam Splinterlands, like it was called Steam Monsters, and I would communicate with him on some of his posts. Just he would talk about things I would be into. Maybe it was the beginnings of the Steam Monsters conversations. I can't remember anymore, but yeah, he's a smart dude. I've got all kinds of respect for him, and it was pretty crazy sitting and with Aggie too, sitting there with having pizza with Aggie, and he bought all of us like some slices at some restaurant there in the hotel.
Yeah, yeah. When we all went upstairs
Yeah.
to that like big area, and he was just like buying tons of pizza for everybody.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was great. It was a good time.
it definitely was. And the hotel, I feel like we've kind of skipped a little bit, but I'd love to just even hear a bit more about, and for some of the people that maybe don't know you, give us like a 1 minute sort of background on how did you get into crypto? What about Splinterlands, and where are you at, like with respect to this game in this moment?
Yeah,
2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll try to make it quick. I have a colleague of mine that had been telling me about Bitcoin for basically, I don't know, since I don't remember the exact year, but it had to have been like 2013, 2014 or so, right when Bitcoin was around $300. And he's like such a great guy, but I always thought he was like kind of kooky in that way, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I regret to say that like I didn't take him seriously until about 2017
Yeah.
when it started kind of moving up in price. And then I started doing my own research, and I started like deep diving into like everything Bitcoin, and kind of like became obsessed with it. And then like, then I went down the rabbit hole of like Bitcoin went up. Now let's move into alts because everybody's moving into alts,
Yeah.
right? And like I did like some XRP, and I know you're a big fanboy of XRP.
Mhm.
And I did then mostly like went to Tron as well, TRX, like
Yeah.
Justin Sun stuff. And and I will say like this, like I'm not in Tron anymore, but I'm glad I did because I ended up a really big in that ecosystem. Um, that's and they had a program called Seed Terminator, which ended up being one of the programs that Splinterlands, or when was switching over to Splinterlands, they Kickstarter basically. Well, they did a
I
Kickstarter,
think
and
we're.
then they also
Hold up. Can you hear me?
Kickstarter with Seed Germinator, and that's how I found out about Splinterlands. And like up at the time, it was like send over like 10,000 seed from the community that I was in at the time. We had like a bunch of like these like data from like a chaos golem, I think. Anyway, there was just a bunch of cards that I didn't get. So I kind of got in that way, got in killed, and I was playing super casually for a long time. And then when FPS came out, that's when I was like, oh damn. I was like, look at all these assets I have. Playing for a while, just like super chilling. And then once SBS came out, I became way more involved and started like kind of like getting better at playing and getting more involved in the community. And it kind of just took off from there. And I like totally I left Tron like behind and just went full on Splinterlands. So it's been kind of an adventure since then.
Nice. Yeah. There was a bit of cutting out there, and there was something happening with the Discord. It sounded like I think maybe your phone was like grabbing into. Anyways, there was something happening with the Discord, but you're sounding great right now. And I caught most of it. Like the journey started with the 300s and the doubting. Like me, man, I remember my friend Duran, if he's out there, Duran was beating down my walls, just telling me all about Bitcoin at 300, 3 to 400 ish. In 2016, I guess I just looked at it, and I was like, yeah, it sounds interesting, but I definitely wasn't going to act on it. That sounded like a crazy. It was it had moved from I think 100 to 300 really rapidly, and I thought, that's enough. Like, but what did I know, right? And then it wasn't $3,000 is where I started to make entries, 3,000 to 3,500 before it moved into 20,000. And but by that point, that's my first bull market, that's my first sort of exciting moment, and I thought it was just the beginnings of something, so I ended up just watching the market bleed out beneath me. But anyways, what an exciting ride. And that I feel like there's an interesting conversation, especially from like an older sort of crypto head like yourself. You've been around now for coming on, I guess that's 8 years or whatever, if it's 2016. Oh man, yeah, for 10 years. 8 years, 9 years maybe.
Yeah. This is like my third cycle.
So
starting.
what I was wondering today, and I've been wondering because of the spice in Splinterlands, as well as blockchain, as well as, all the alt market, SP. It's really on us and in our community right now for a lot of reasons. Like look at all the concerns. There's runway concerns. There's sort of, are we gonna, there's worries that we're gonna miss this bull market cycle because we're not prepared for it. There's questions around advertising and like budgeting for things like that DAO proposal and the land development. Why isn't land even out? And on and on and on. There's so many criticisms, but I keep wondering two things, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. The first is, I think if SPS just goes, and it could go in the middle of an altcoin market, regardless of whether there are fundamentals that are set and prepared to justify that bump. That's my first piece. I think SPS could go just with the altcoin markets without any justification. It doesn't need prep. It doesn't need planning. It doesn't need advertising. If altcoins rise and if SPS can get a piece of that, because it's that simple sometimes. So that's like a first piece. We could get that regardless, aside from any sort of prep or planning. And then I go, the second piece is like, but are we gonna, like, is this, I've heard this be said so many times before about the altcoin market, or actually about the crypto market, but people say this time is different. Something's broken. It's not going to happen. And for me right now, there is a little bit of that voice. I'm not selling. I'm not spooked. But I want to hear your thoughts, Dejota, around, you've been through 3 cycles, you say. Like, I'm starting to feel like, where's the bull market for the altcoin, for the broader altcoin market? We saw Ethereum go. You saw, I think, Cardano in the last, right, like in 2022 or whatever it was. But man, it hasn't, since 2000, let me pull up a chart so I can bearings. Since XRP did this in 2018, going to $4 or whatever, that 2018 was like the last real altcoin market where everything went. So is it done? Like, are altcoins not going to have another everything goes moment? Maybe it's now a big enough, selective enough marketplace where only some go. And maybe that's why, like, if we look at the Cardano chart, you'll see like a boom in here. If we look at the ETH chart, another example, bigger example, there's that boost, that boom in 2021 that you don't see in some of those other coins. And you do see in Doge, you do see in ETH, you do see in, I think Cardano, I think Tron went from 1 penny to 16 cents. So some coins did it 3 years ago, and maybe some.
I mean, some coins. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Go.
Yeah, I was gonna say some coins didn't like reach their all-time highs again, but we definitely had another like altcoin boom in 2021.
Yeah.
I think the big difference is that in 2021, a lot of those like projects had a lot more tokens out in the market at that point.
Yeah.
So like reaching their all-time high price for a market cap was just not like reality.
Yeah. You know what? That's a very, very powerful point. And just let's sit on that for a minute before you go on to anything else you want to say. You're right. Like coins like Hive or XRP isn't, like, a bunch was being, over that time period, was being unlocked and sold by the previous co-creator or whatever. And every token that had any sort of inflation along that window, from its previous all-time high to its next all-time high, SPS would be another way to think about it. It's going to be really hard for SPS to get back to $1 because we have so many more tokens than when we were at $1, right?
Well, you know, I'm again, and like I've had to stress this when I've like made these comments, that nothing is guaranteed. Obviously, not financial advice. I just think when people say that it's impossible for SPS to get to $1, I think that is short-sighted. I think it's definitely difficult, especially being what we are now, like a $12 million market cap or whatever. But the reality is that there's been crazier things that has happened in this space.
Totally.
We have seen meme coins like of frogs or whatever go to billions and billions of dollars just off of like pure speculation and hype, right? So like you have a project right now that I believe in the last bull market that Splinterlands was valued in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I think it was a few $100 million market cap at its peak, I think. And I know Axie was like, I think $3 to $6 billion or something like that at their peak. To say that Splinterlands, with all of our tech, all of our years, an actual like product that's out, a community that is like incredibly hardcore. And as you can see from these promos, that like people are buying. To say that like we can't get that type of momentum, I think is short sighted.
Yeah.
I think that putting Splinterlands at $1 billion market cap, especially in 2024 in crypto,
Mhm.
it's not that far fetched.
Yeah.
Again, this is not financial advice. Like, everyone do what you want to do, but it's actually not that far fetched.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Annie, I am like, I am probably one of the most bullish people about that
Yeah,
are
you
still
are.
here. Um, and same as you just said, and people will come on and say things that are so salty to me because when you shouldn't pump this or you shouldn't, and they'll drop comments like, I'll probably clip this later, and they'll drop comments saying the same thing, like, you're lies and you're a liar too, and Matt's this, and whatever. It's so there's such animosity sometimes because there's probably a wide range of stories, but one example of what I think's happening when we see tension around those sorts of suggestions, it's two things. One, people think what you are into is advice for all. Like, if I said to you, I'm into the carnivore diet, then that must mean you think everyone should do the carnivore diet. Or if you're buying SPS or you're playing Splinterlands, well, you must believe that everyone should, and that you want. And for me, one of the things it's funny because I get in trouble from like the salty guys who don't believe in it, and they'll say I'm too bullish. And then some of the people who are like really into it don't want me to say, for instance, like, it's a good thing when people leave that they can leave, because if you can sell all your assets in this game, it means that there's a real ownership piece, and an off ramp is a powerful utility for in-game assets. If you can sell things that you own in this game, that is really revolutionary. That's part of why this game's special. And so some people it's so funny how some people will like get mad when you're like bullish about the future, and others will get salty when you're like not bullish enough about the future. You can never please everybody, but just yeah, man, like, I think it could go that high too. I think it could go past its all-time high because of how small the market cap is, because of how ludicrous crypto can be. But I guess to circle back and kind of hold you on one more piece of that conversation I was trying to start was,
Yeah.
is this time different though? Like, I know you pointed to some of the tokens maybe didn't show the same boom because they had greater supply, but doesn't it feel different? Like, when was the last time we had every altcoin go? Because remember in 2016 or 18 or whatever that was, 18 I think, all
Yeah.
of them went. Everything. Was that the
Yeah. I
last
mean,
time?
to be honest with you, I remember 2021-ish, I think 2020, 2021. I think I remember everything like popping off, but like it's possible that I was just in those coins. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But I remember being an incredible boom as well.
Yeah.
Um,
It was. You're right.
but
Not everything like XRP. You know what? XRP, like you called it, XRP is one of my bags. And in 2021, we got sued by the SEC, like right when we were at like
yeah,
buck. We were just
yeah,
below 2. And then the SEC sued them like on that day. It might have been April 17, 2021. And then whoop. And then, so anyways,
yeah,
maybe it's more my own. But I guess it just feels like, well, the SEC is not done too, that's like a conversation that would probably be an hour in and of itself. It's
yeah,
these idiots just cutting the tree branch on which they want to stand. They want a strong economy. They want the American infrastructure to be leaders of, digital assets. I would imagine they should, because there's a technological advantage. There's a business component, which is jobs, and you know what I mean? Like, to be a leader of the world in an economic sense, you would think that they would want to support this industry, but they don't. They're just nickel and diming and playing favorites here and there, right?
yeah. Are you are you asking me, is it different this time for Splinterlands?
I guess I'm starting to like, I guess there's this little voice. I'm pointing towards the broader market, and I'm asking the question, are we going to see that sort of all the, like SPS didn't go in 2021, right? No, it didn't. It's just been bleeding out. And like, are we going to see that? Like, what do you have any concerns that previous sort of way where all altcoins went is maybe not a thing anymore? Maybe that was just that moment. Now there's 10,000 coins and there was only 1,000 back then. Maybe it's just different now a little bit. Not saying there won't be amazing altcoin markets, but do you see the question? Like, it's a bit, the market is bigger. There's a crazy number of tokens now. Maybe, the Dow Jones isn't booming in the same way it was before. There's economic recession looming. I'm not trying to say I'm bearish. I'm just talking about it with somebody who's been here through 3. Do you think we're going to see another sort of, do you feel confident or do you feel shaken at all?
I don't feel shaken at all. And I think if you actually look at like a chart from the Dow Jones in the last like year, you'll see that's like it's popping off too. Like the markets in general are zoom out a little there.
Yeah. This is the 1 year we're down. We were
there. I mean, it's right. It's
10,000
definitely trending upwards.
Yeah. 10,000 points. 25%.
Yeah. So like specifically, here, let's go back. Let's zone in on like Splinterlands itself, because when you say an altcoin, like I would love to think that Splinterlands is an altcoin and it was an altcoin. I think it's more like a micro cap at this point. So we're gonna have to like wait, I think, a little bit. If we start seeing Bitcoin, jump above 100K, and then maybe people start taking some profits on its way up, then it's gonna move into like ETH and Solana and like some of the other bigger like altcoins, and then it'll start moving down. The money will start moving down.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take like a lot of work from the community, I think, to like get our voices out about not to sleep on Splinterlands. And I think if we capture just a small amount, we have the like foundation and the bones of this project in place, where if SPS can start rising, and you start seeing like people like Buctus and Brave Tofu, and all those top players like making 40-50 SPS a win, and they're making like a few dollars a win, that's going to start spreading. And we already have we have the bones. We just got to get we just got to get a little traction and then get that flywheel going. But to kind of go back quickly to what you said about what's different for Splinterlands, let me ask you this question.
Yep.
Were we prepared in the last bull market more than we're prepared now? Was Splinterlands more prepared? Because we did pop off when SPS came out.
Yeah. I think Splinterlands was far less prepared in every way than it is now. So it's more prepared now.
Yeah. I think the only sort of like other part to that was there's a lot less projects then. Yes. There's a lot more like obviously like great projects out there right now in Web3. But we are definitely more prepared.
True. Yep, definitely. 100%. And you're right. And there's and so for all those, if that sounds, there's a bearishness to what I just said, or like a concern around what I said there. It's like, I hope it's heard in the way that it's meant. It's like, I haven't sold anything. In fact, I'm trying to buy things in Splinterlands. But, as we continue to look at, I don't know, man, when is Bitcoin go, like, you know what? Here's the piece that I've been struggling with, I think, because I'm thinking this all out loud. It's not like I came with an essay on why I'm thinking what I'm thinking, but I guess I was feeling like, the Federal Reserve has said that they're in America has said that they're going to come out and they're going to lower interest rates. And to me, that's not a concern. That's not a good thing. It implies financial concern. It implies concerns over the market. And so, to me, what that suggests is the Federal Reserve and the powers that be believe that the market will move backward. We will lose stock market valuation, and that'll hurt everything from, retirement savings to whatever, to pensions across America. it'll impact corporate, profitability, and therefore predict layoffs. That'll affect housing, car mortgages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, car auto loans, all of which are $1 trillion markets. And so without going too far down this rabbit hole, they're saying they're going to lower rates, and actually beginning to lower rates, to me is indication that we're running out of time to see the fullness of what I would have hoped would be the massive altcoin market, SPS boom. I would have thought, I have been thinking for months, that before they begun lowering rates, we would see Bitcoin do its final thing and the altcoins begin to roll. And then there'd be this blow off really fast, but I guess I'm wrong. And so even though, I have my concerns because I haven't seen what I thought I was going to see. I haven't sold a thing. In fact, I bought more. I bought 25,000 SPS like a couple days ago, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And I know it's not like a crazy massive sum, but I'm just trying what I can, scratching and clawing, because I'm in, man. I'm in. I'm not going anywhere. I play this game. That's the other thing too. I'm enjoying this game more than I have in years. I'm playing, not every day, but I'm playing most days. This is modern. These are all me. In the last, 40. Okay. So that's 6 days ago. So in the last day, I did probably 10 to 12 matches. And some days I'll go and I'll play. I always save myself 10 energy now. So anytime I want, I can play 10 more. I'm loving it. I play all the time as far as I'm concerned, as much as I can, with 3 kids, one newly adopted and a wife that I need to tend to too, man. So I'm in, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Let's go back quickly to you talking about you were expecting Bitcoin to kind of like move up already at this point.
Yep.
Historically though, Bitcoin tends to start moving like 6 to 12 months after the halving. So like we still have some time. I actually think we're right on schedule.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit behind, but I also think like people were expecting it. So like sometimes when you're expecting something to happen like this, it tends to not actually happen because everyone's thinking it's going to happen and they're trying to, outplay you. So like there's that like element too. So I don't think that we've missed anything so far. And in terms of them like lowering the interest rates, yeah, I agree with you. I think that they think that there's a possibility of a downturn happening, and that's the reason why they're like lowering the interest rates and going to likely continue lowering the interest rates to sort of stimulate the economy and like just get kind of things moving. The last time that in the US that we had low interest rates, the economy was like, moving. So like, I mean, the markets were doing really well.
Yeah.
Like housing prices were through the roof, but that's also like inflation. That's like what they do. It's like they just keep kicking the can down the road, just keep printing money. Hence Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and I hear you, and I know those considerations. I thought that we would see a meltdown, and it's not happening so far. But you know what? Also is a strange little asterisk on all this conversation. Gold doing so well right now. Silver doing so well right now. That tells me there's a community of people who are putting big money on an asset they believe holds value in the middle of economic turmoil. And then this is a huge nebulous conversation. And I love hearing your thoughts on it. But you know what? Let's circle into the crowd or into the chat here. I want to see who's hanging out. And I want to get to so many different things too. We talked before we went live about a few different topics. So let's see what the chat's saying, and then let's dive into another topic. Okay, so William earlier said past my bedtime, but this treat is worth losing sleep for. I appreciate that, William, for real. Thank you. Woody, haha, you're not wrong. Thank you for being here, by the way, Woody, and he's for this. Hopefully he won't be submitting brawls this stream. I watch enough beatdowns when submitting mine. Absolutely. The other day, William, I bet you watched my Guild Brawl video, which I released this week, and I got slapped. I usually do so well. Like lately, it's been 6-1 or 5-1 or 6-0, and I got beat down last Guild Brawl because I was
I loved watching that video because you kept being like, "Ah, guys, I'm normally better than this. I swear."
I need to record. I need to record it quietly. You know how you go to YouTube and you've seen content where they're like building something, and then they later dub over it. So I could just like record it. That'd be my stock footage, and I could like record my thoughts over it later. That way I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, but your like raw kind of like emotion in the
Yeah,
moment was like really awesome.
that's right. Yeah. Paul, thanks for coming by, buddy. Mike got addicted during Splinterfest, didn't he? He spent a good $1,000. Like, you know what's funny? Mike was so into it, that Splinterfest, and he played until he had no energy. I forget how it worked back then, like how the energy worked, if we had an energy meter or what I think you were allowed. Anyways, I don't remember it. But he played all of the energy and he wasn't earning anything, and he was still playing. Remember how that wasn't there a way that it used to work where you're like you wanted to stay in a certain sweet spot so your earnings were maximized? He was just like down to nothing, and he was because he didn't understand any of that tokenomics side. And so yeah, then he left and spent like a grand on cards. He's been too busy to be into it lately, but I set him up with like a bot and stuff, and he hasn't been doing his wild pass, but yeah, I set him up. Alex Bernard, that promo card was 1.5k, now 200. You know what, Lux? Let's actually look at. I want to look at Lux because let's spend a couple minutes on the market if there's not anything else here. I see Eli out there. Thanks, buddy. People's Gale, good to see you, bud. What else? What did you? Dubai, dude. Wouldn't that be wild? Splinterlands, Dubai. For real, that'd be so crazy awesome. Because Dubai's a place like globally I'd love to travel. Dejota, you ever been like Middle East, or I don't know if Dubai's quote unquote Middle East? You been there?
No, unfortunately, I'd love to though.
Yeah, it's like one of those world attractions, especially with like, I forget that the Burk or whatever, the super crazy tall building they've got there. And they've got they have a snow mountain inside their hotel. So you can go skiing any time of the year. What a crazy thing.
I actually commented on After Sounds, I think streamed today or yesterday, I can't remember when, that I think Splinterlands, if we hit a bull market and things are kind of going well for us, I think we should piggyback on High Fest, and have like a Splinterfest like the day or two before or the day or two after, and just like everybody can do that and go to High Fest,
Yeah, absolutely.
would be cool.
The Burj Khalifa, that's right. Django's got it there. And I saw somebody saying that they couldn't understand you earlier, but you've been clean since that one time. There was something weird happening with the phone, maybe grabbing, because you had your phone close by and it might have been trying to. I could just hear it linking in and out as if it was joining the Discord conversation and leaving. But anyways, it's all better. I saw a question here from William earlier. What is the most attractive place for you to put money in SPL right now? And he talks about SPS cards, DC, land. I actually want to look at the marketplace because I want to look at Luck that was being mentioned a moment ago. And I've been tracking my card valuations, and things are looking pretty good. Let's start there. My owned cards in Splinterlands are currently $17,675, and they were as low as $13,000. I could pull up exact dates on that. I'm not gonna right now. 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. So that's a pretty decent little turnaround. And a lot of it was from alphas, which are really kind of pumping a little bit. Let's see what my alpha collection is worth these days. My alpha collection was as low as, I want to say, 900. So it's like double what it was. So that's one of the gainers. Cards I'm interested. You just bought a fancy new card today, didn't you? You just bought this guy.
I did. I got myself a Max Night Stalker. I just I haven't been getting the promos. They've been out of my budget, but when I saw Night Stalker show up, I was like, you know what? I have to have this card. This is gonna be like meta defining type of card.
I don't see your post right now but this is you, right? Dejota.sps, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Dejota underscore. Yes.
I don't know. It's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm on there all the time. That's the problem.
Yeah. And look,
I gotta keep scrolling.
What else are you buying these days? There it is.
There it is. No, that's Blazes. That's Blazers again. I don't know. I'm
Everybody,
in there somewhere.
there it is.
There I am, right there.
Yeah. Got
All right.
level 8.
Yeah. I went all out. So.
Did you get
And I got it under that price that you I bought it off the market because I think people are obviously like getting gold foils and they're getting the points for the competition, so
Yes.
they're selling it a little bit cheaper.
So
At least they were when I looked. Yeah, what's he going for? I think he's up to the right there.
gold foils $15 and regs for $1.90. But how many can you buy for that price?
Yeah.
So there's 100.
$1.90's not bad.
Dude, $1.90 right there. There's 150 right there. So what would you be looking at for that? $1.90 times 115. 218.
Yeah, I got mine for I think like 220, 225 or something like that. So that's pretty good. That's cheaper than what I got it for.
Yeah, I would love to buy it. And I like honestly, before, if we weren't doing this right now, I would be probably taking some of that XRP and making that. I do think this card it's
Yeah.
at least very seriously up there in terms of like this to me. Talk to me about why you bought this card and where is it ranking and what, like, is it 250? You say, like, is it worth
Yeah.
250 and why?
Well, here's what I'll say is that like I mean if you compare it to like other Rebellion rare cards, you might not think so. But I think when it's all said and done, the circulation supply on it's going to be low. It's also going to be a promo card, so you're going to get that bonus in every battle. And I think it's going to be like one of those. I don't know this for sure, obviously, but to me it feels like it could be like one of those cards like Venka. Maybe not as good as Venka, but it's going to be one of those cards that's going to be played a lot. That's my anticipation.
Yeah, I almost sold my Venka.
It's going to be needed.
I almost sold my Venka today because I wanted to pull, make some moves with the Night Stalker. Not that, Venka's crazy. Venka's awesome, but I don't have a max Venka. So, I think I have a level 2, which means 3 BCX. Yeah, I've got 3 BCX of Venka. This is a conversation. What is that worth, Venka? So 32 BCX per, $25 a high bid, $75 for 3 of them. Like, here's the thing. When I have a card at level 2, I often just go, I don't want it. Like, I'd rather get rid of it and buy it later for 11 BCX at some discounted price, because there's almost always a 20 to 30% discount when somebody has a max copy who they're trying to unload it. So at some point in the future, I could justify that. Now, if my Venka allowed me to buy the new Night Stalker, I would do that right now. But for a $75 turnaround on my Venka, to flip it at the high bid price, no thanks. But and Venka's so good. You have a max Venka?
I don't. I missed the boat on Venka. That's like kind of like what I'm saying about Night Stalker, is that I missed the boat and then it kind of got out of my price range.
Yeah, Night Stalker, the blast. Hey, like the blast in conjunction with the execute.
Yeah, and the sneak, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's 4 mana. Like anything that's like Little League, it's gonna be like dominating.
I know. And you know what's interesting? It's like a quiet counter to Dr. Blight, the best card in the game. I showed my data recently on Dr. Blight. I use my Splinter stats to track things like this. Dr. Blight is you have a Dr. Blight?
Oh yeah.
Look at this. I don't know if you use Splinter Coach, but Splinter Coach data, man.
I do, yeah.
This is nutty. 2,000 matches from Dr. Blight. Like, okay, 1,900 matches from Dr. Blight, and I'm a 5-4-6 win rate. This thing plays so often because it's a 4 mana monster. Because it has, that scavenge, and the kit is so powerful, and the camo in conjunction with the scavenge is so synergistic. They're very different cards, this and Night Stalker. But you know what's interesting? Night Stalker with the blast damage in conjunction with sneak, it's not going to observe the scavenge, or not going to observe the opponent's Dr. Blight. It's going to go to spot 5, striking with 4, and doing 2 blast damage to anything adjacent in spot 6, a camo Dr. Blight, for instance, as well as spot 4, with whatever is beside the visible rear monster.
Right.
And
Right,
so
right.
it's probably even more powerful than you might have thought, because won't it? I don't know what'll happen in that situation, but if you, let's say you were queued up with your Night Stalker, and I had a
Yeah.
Dr. Blight in the 6, and I had like a pretty decent archery monster number 5 with 10 hit points, let's say, you're not gonna execute on my rear monster because you're not gonna go down to 2, but you would theoretically drive my Dr. Blight down to 2. Will it identify the camouflage Dr. Blight? Will it execute on that? I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm sure somebody in the comments might be able to clarify this for us, but I don't think it will on the blast. I think it has to be like the main target. That's my understanding, but I could be wrong.
That would make sense to me, I think.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, like, often some of the, for instance, affliction doesn't blast into the second spot, or different, there's many abilities like stun that don't blast into the second spot, or
Yeah.
but with respect to William's conversation earlier, mentioned like what is the most attractive place for you to put money in SPL right now. To me, I'm like, at least the most sexy place for me is cards. I don't know if it's the most financially viable. I don't know if it's the most long-term sustainable. I don't know if it's good advice. I'm just saying, I'm like, I love getting a new toy to play with. Like I said earlier, I'm enjoying the game of Splinterlands more than I have maybe ever, and for sure than I have in years. And so I want new toys to play with. And I think you're probably in that same boat, Dejota, like, based on what you told me today with your cards. Are you buying other cards, or is this one just really, really special?
I am buying other cards, and I actually had a guildmate ask me today, should I buy like SPS or buy this one card that I really wanted for a long time. It's like is the Llama Mage.
Hmm.
He got it for like I think $200 or so, maxed out. And I said to him, I said, listen, like this has got to be your choice, but like I think SPS has technically more upside in terms of like
Hmm.
value, like, but I guess value is subjective, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but like, what do you want it for? Like, because this card is gonna, like, you said you wanted this card for so long. It's like if you buy this card, is it gonna bring you joy when you play the game? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, well then, maybe get the card. I go,
Yeah.
but just know that like you may not like it. It may not moon, but like it's gonna certainly help you win a lot of SPS in battles.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I mean, everybody's gonna kind of make their own decision with this stuff, right? Like,
Totally.
who knows what SPS is gonna be? But like, if you enjoy playing the game, get the card.
Yeah, that's the thing. If and to tie it back to a point that I like making, and because I think it's really important, is if you're enjoying the process of what Splinterlands is, that changes your likelihood of being here for years to come, and that grows your probability of enjoying the next book. And again, asterisks, if there's going to be a bull market. I think there will be, obviously. I wouldn't hold $20,000 worth of assets in cards alone, plus land, plus SPS, if I didn't think that this had a real good chance of enjoying the next altcoin market boom. But at the same time, you come to Splinterlands for a couple of reasons. One, fun, or two, opportunity. And hopefully the best of us, and maybe the ones that'll be here the longest, the ones that have the greatest probability of doing well here, are going to be those that have both of those in mind: fun and opportunity, fun and rewarding. And that's the secret sauce. Like, because if you are watching, I heard Aftersun, I think, talking about Darkest Night, who he was at Splinterfest, and Darkest Night is a great guy and such a smart gamer too, and like had some good money to throw around in this game, but I don't know him very well, but didn't seem to, like, it was about like the financial side of it. Something broke for him, and it was like he left. And to me, if I don't look at these things and go, I've lost valuation. I just go, interesting, the number is lower than it used to be. It means nothing to me because I'm actually enjoying the process. But also, to be fair, I have to be like, I guess, step back and a little bit of like salt on my own words. I bought in for cheaper. Like mostly this was $5,000 of money turned into more. But also it's $30,000 now. And to say it's only, I only think of it as five is kind of a half true. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
Yeah.
so, I think you got, if you're looking for cards, you're here because you like the fun. If you're looking for SPS, you're more that investor hoping to ride the wave. And both are fine. But here's the thing about SPS, or to a lesser extent DEC. If you're buying those tokens, you're doing it probably because you want to speculate on the next altcoin market touching Splinterlands. And what if it doesn't? If it doesn't, I'm still enjoying a game that is fun and rewarding. If it doesn't, and you have a huge bag of SPS and you don't really want that bag of SPS because you're not playing the game, you're going to feel it's going to be a burden in your hands. It's going to be, that's how people put down their heavy bags. That's what people like, you get sick of carrying your bags and you put them down at a loss. Whereas I wouldn't sell anything until I was good and ready because I'm just enjoying the process. Two ways of thinking about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if we miss the next bull run, then we all better hunker down for another 4 years.
Yeah,
you better be really committed. You better be really committed to this game.
This, if we don't get a bull market, if we didn't see a bull market in Splinterland in this cycle, I would imagine we are gonna see greater lows. This isn't gonna be the floor. I don't think, like, let's say, like you said, and the 4-year cycle is the benchmark, and in the next 6 to 12 months there isn't the rest of that picture you were describing. I don't think things stay stable here, Splinterlands. I think we're stable here now, partly because people are expecting an altcoin market. So
Yeah.
things will get bumpy if there is no boom from
Yeah. Well, let's pause for 1 second. We did just hear on the down hall that the team holds a significant amount of Bitcoin in their treasury. If so, as long as we get that type of run, I would expect that Matt, being significantly more conservative, once Bitcoin pushes up like higher, is going to move some of that to like some more stable coin stuff. So like it's possible that the team is going to be able to be put in a much better financial situation to kind of ride through a bear market. Now I'm not saying they're going to like have enough money to expand, but we might be able to get to the next one.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. And you're right. That's the thing. When people talk, there's a lot of talk recently about the and side note before we get into this, Ank says, smash the like, guys. 18 viewers. I don't know how many likes, but do us a favor if you're enjoying the content, you like Splinterlands, please let people know.
It's 10 likes. Come on, guys.
Thank you very much. That proposal to the DAO, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I guess what's interesting is that I'm gonna say I lost my train of thought there.
About the proposal? About the company holding Bitcoin?
Yeah, okay. So you're talking about the company holding Bitcoin. And thank you. And so the connection I wanted to draw is Runway. People are concerned about Runway. They saw that proposal from Matt or from the team, and they go, Runway, see, it's concerning, and Splinterlands, and it's all falling apart. No. But the thing that it's so complicated because what are the revenue sources? It's also complicated because they hold a big bag of ETH and I think Bitcoin. I don't think it's just Bitcoin. I think it's ETH and Bitcoin. And what if those do well, which most people think? And so it's this multifaceted conversation, and most people just go, Runway, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, but you can also look at the other side of that coin too, that holding that much cryptocurrency can be looked at as dangerous.
Yeah.
However, I think we're all in this space because like we believe in this and we understand how these markets tend to work, and that I think history will likely repeat itself, and I think we will have a bull run. But yeah, no, I mean, like I think if we're able to get that, I think we're going to be in a much better situation than is being led on. And but I also want to say that that Matt is incredibly transparent
Hmm.
and is, I think, far more conservative.
Yeah.
So the fact that I think he like let some team members go recently
Yeah.
and is asking the DAO for funds to pay for Cryptomancer, I think is because it's hit his threshold where they need more money. But I think that runway is still bigger than most. That likely is probably still larger than what most people would have because he's more conservative.
Yeah. I think that's true. And for all my, I guess, frustrations around the wording of that proposal, I am supportive of it. If Matt and the team thinks we need that and the DAO has it, I like I said in my video, like, why do we have a DAO fund if we don't want a sense of crisis? Maybe this is a crisis. Step up and put our chips on the table. I love playing poker, and you can't win without risking it, man. Either this is special and there's something here and we should go to bat for it, or not.
Yeah,
I know what
I also love Gold Matters is putting out a bunch of like videos and tweets on X about how like you shouldn't be planning for plan B. You should be focused on plan A. And I just like love his attitude on that. It's like, listen, like, let's be real, guys. If Splinterlands was to close up shop tomorrow, the DAO is screwed. There is no DAO. Like, honestly. So like let's use our funds wisely. I'm not saying let's just throw it around, but like right now, if we need to like pay for Cryptomancer to finish land, like let's just get it done.
One side topic that I haven't fully explored before, and I'd love, and you know what? Shout out to People's Guild. Did you, Dejota, you're in that chat? Did they posted, Django's posted, and maybe we can bring it up here. Actually, let's look at that high post. They're running a contest or an opportunity for people to give ideas on what would like be low hanging fruit for sort of success for the next, I think, 6 or 9 months or something like that. And because one piece that goes to, I want to here before I finish my thought.
Yeah, right in there. Yeah. Yeah. If by the way, if y'all are not in the People's Guild Discord, you should get in there.
Great conversation. I'm not gonna, you know what? Can I get you to pull it up for me, Dejota, while I'm talking? I don't want to just roll through a.
Yeah, sure. I'll throw it in our Discord.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to bring up is that one, People's Guild has this amazing community-centered conversation around how can we drive profitability into the DAO. But two, you mentioned the land. We've been talking a little bit about the proposal to have Cryptomancer work on land. One of the things I'm thinking is like, what if it's not land? What if we say, yeah, we want to support the team. We want to go to bat for the team. We're willing to pay for Cryptomancer's, effort for a year. But what if land's not the target? What if it's guilds? Or what if it's, I don't know, like fill in blank here, because sometimes, like, I love land. I have 30 some plots of land. I'm excited about where land's go. But, I don't think I could articulate an argument that would be logical, that would say land is the place that's going to move the needle quickest and most effectively for Splinterlands. I don't think that that's a logical argument. And so if land is not the lowest hanging fruit, what is to move the needle? Because that's what they're looking for. The new player experience is what he calls it, the episode challenge, new player experience. He goes, we're calling for the community to explore and identify key areas in the player experience, especially for new players that could benefit from further development and refinement by the company. Our aim is to focus on easy wins, yet simple yet impactful improvements that could significantly enhance the onboarding early. And so, like, talking about growing, what would be the thing that would move the needle most effectively for the least expense and timeline? And part of my thinking is as I think about this, bring in that conversation around the DAO proposal, like what if we came and said, look, we'll pay for him for a year or two for that price point described, but then we're not sure that lands the target. I don't know, maybe it's something else. Any thoughts on that?
I think regardless if something else would work, I think Cryptomancer has spent the last few months kind of like wrapping his head around land. That's been obviously a project for multiple years. We also have a significant part of our community that has been extremely patient on land. I fear that if we were to move Cryptomancer to another part of the project and delay land, I'm not sure that we would retain some important people in our community at that point. I will say that I think the people who have been waiting on land have been more than patient. I'm also like a land holder, and I was also like, when this first came out, I was pushing for like, no, we need to like get him on like making guilds better, because like that's like a huge like sticky point for like new players. Like, let's get the social part of guilds better. But then after talking to some people, like I think this is the right move, keeping him on land. And he also made a comment too that like I forget when it was. I think it was like maybe the down hall or in the Discord somewhere. But he made a comment. Cryptomancer made a comment saying that like him moving to the new player experience, he wouldn't they already have those things like happening. He's already like kind of dived deep into land. Just let him kind of keep kind of like moving there. So I think we need to like just trust that process at this point and get to 1.75, get to 2.0, and then we have a game now that differentiates us.
I could be convinced either way. I see what you're saying for sure. And I have 38 plots of land, 31 active. Want to see that. I think there's real power in when this goes where it's supposed to go, with the card sync and with the DEC sync, etc. And 2.0 bringing in items and spells, like, but wow, that feels so far away. You know what though? Silver lining that I haven't heard. I need to do a separate video, but I saw somebody in the chat with People's Guild that exact that. I'm not going to pull it up because I don't want to, in case there's any personal conversations that I haven't vetted or what. I don't want to share that. But in that chat, there was someone posted a comment that was like, it was a bit of a response to Tails, because Tails' video, as always, he has. How do I say this?
He's edgy.
He's edgy. He's got that spice. He's got the spice rack in his back pocket. But he feels strongly that the new player experience was like misfire, wrong direction, etc., etc., etc. And I thought there was a really powerful comment in that chat, and I think this deserves a separate video probably, where no man, like new player, and I've heard it all day today. I've listened to Splinterlands all day today. And it's like new player experience. It's like terrible. And like, what does it even mean? It's a waste. And I go, no, there's been like, I want to feature all those things. Like, we really have seen this and this and this. One piece of it that I know personally, that I personally enjoy is, and actually I know Rogue, everybody knows Rogue. He has come back to Splinterlands in part because the mobile has gotten so much better. That is a new player experience. That user interface is part of what the team has, how they've approached new player experience. And so there have been meaningful move the needle things that have come already, and we aren't giving enough credit for it. There are a number of us who are like, nothing's happened all year long, and everything's terrible, and that's just not accurate.
I agree, and I remember I read that comment too in that Discord, and I want to give props to Royal Eagle for pushing back a little bit on that and highlighting all of the things that the team has done over the last 9 months or so.
Yep.
He just like went through and listed a ton of things that had to do with new player experience. And hats off to Royal Eagle. I mean, that guy is everywhere. Like I'm in like a new player guild trying to kind of just like help out.
Yep.
And it's just like he's got so many things going on trying to help out new players, and I just like that guy is a beast for real. Like Royal Eagle is he's at the top for me.
Yeah. It's there's certain key people like that who are so important. I said in a video a couple months ago that Splinterlands will fail if, and I listed a few things that could kill it, but I didn't really think any of them would kill it except saltiness and like just the erosion of our community. Meaning, like, it's okay to be salty. It's okay to be really frustrated. It's okay to share your frustration. But we got to a place, remember, where like Discord was just like absolute crap show. There was nothing valuable there at all. It was just hate, anger, fighting. And sometimes, there's a place where like it goes from constructive to just toxic, and that erodes the community. It doesn't help. Even if there is a meaningful conversation that needs to happen on a given topic, we can't go, hey, you're an idiot, but by the way, listen to me. I know how to fix things. There's this famous quote that I love. It's like, when you're debating with somebody, you have to ask yourself, or when you're speaking with somebody, you have to ask yourself whether you want to win the person or you want to win the conversation. You don't get both, because like to come in and dunk on somebody and speak with disrespect and even on two sides of a conversation, like for instance, we should pay Cryptomancer or we shouldn't, or we should focus on land or we shouldn't, or we should focus, vouchers, yes or no, etc. There's always people who feel one way strongly and the other way strongly. And either the community stays together and is strong, or we break and fracture and shrink. And so we always have to think that through, because I think that is like one of the greatest vulnerabilities. Like one of our greatest strengths is those community members. And, hopefully I'm part of that too. Hopefully I think you're part of that too, Dejota. Many of the people in the chat here who are here all the time are part of that community too. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what we got to defend. It's like even in some ways, it's like probably as powerful as, like for instance, Nate and his impact, because if there is no core community, and I don't know if you get new people figuring things out, I don't know if guilds has the joy, if it isn't for hearts like him, or maybe you, or maybe, right, that just like, I'm willing to sit with you and train, I'm willing to tell you, I'm willing to give you a chance, I'm willing to show you how to use the rental market, etc., etc.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I mean, like all of it is like incredibly important, and we all have to put in that time. And I agree. Like, if you want to just like swim in salt, you're gonna just stay in salt. But like, if everybody like looked for the positive in some capacity, like it's gonna, like, like I've heard you say a number of times, like the tide rises all boats, right?
Yeah.
It's like we all have to be part of that tide.
Yeah.
We can't just kind of sit around and just like complain. Having like constructive criticism is important, like to any ecosystem. But at some point, you also need to like be part of like the solution and be
Yes.
like solution oriented.
Yes.
And if you're just like complaining all the time, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
With that said, I want to make a quick plug for the Splinter fam on X community here, Twitter. I know a ton of people on there in our community are working their like asses off to push our community out to the masses. I love Discord for what it is, but like, let's be real, it's a bubble, right? Like there's nobody that's in our Discord that's going to join our community because they're already joined in our community. So I'm making a plea to everybody in our community. Please, if you don't have an X account or you don't believe in getting on X or Twitter, like or whatever it is. Maybe it's Reddit, something like get into a community that is not in a bubble, that's not closed off, as well. Get out there, share your story, help new people. Um, come join us. Come join us on X. It's incredibly positive. There's a lot of like good stuff happening there.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't get enough time for it, but community members that I really respect are active over there, and it's part of how we will reach a broader community. Jeff Opens Cards is super active over there. You're over there all the time. Who else do I follow?
Yep.
Blaze, good buddy. I'm talking to Blaze
Yep.
tomorrow morning actually.
Yep.
Deuce. Who else?
Yep.
Tails is active.
Ank is on there. Ank is buying gold foil everything every day.
Yeah. And Gold Matters too. Gold Matters is like
Yeah.
what a gem.
Yeah.
He's over there blowing it up. King Arminius too.
Yep. Yep.
So many good voices. You're right. It's a very valuable conversation, and we get to like multiply. Or again, same things I said about community here. It's like if it's
Yep.
touching there, it's powerful, it's meaningful. And I'm time and attention over there, and you're Dejota _SPS.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Just come follow any of us and just DM us. We'll get you rolling in the community if you don't have an account yet. We'll get you following everybody.
Dude, you got the raw dog over here. This is you, Dejota the Gambler, Knights of Pretoria.
That's me. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a 5200 battle or something. You're at 5240. That's a crazy number. I haven't seen. I've never been that high in my entire career.
Hold on. That's not me though. That's not me.
Okay.
I have a scholar.
Okay. Because that's a crazy number.
I'm not that good.
Yeah. and by the way, you probably should have won that. Your team should have won that. I'm going to show that again because I was fighting it. I was showing it while you were chatting.
Okay. Go back to it.
They're against Lorcas, and Lorcas is a beat.
Dude, Lorcas is so good.
Yeah. The scatter shot is so nasty. Like, okay, so Dejota on the bottom here with the squirrel with the true strikes, the double striking Delia. I didn't know you bought the Delia as well.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I rented her.
That double strike is the upgrades that she got late in the game are really interesting. I don't have the money. I'm not gonna. If I could get one, it would be Night Stalker, not Delia. But double strike with reflection shield is awesome. And by the way, 4 bomb turns to 5 bomb with the squirrel. So you end up losing, but it's only because the scatter shot drives. Jin Inferni puts in work. I wonder if you would have won this one if instead of the scholar put True Strike over here on Delia, which is so valuable, and True Strike on Torch Vizier, but Vizier gets deleted with the scatter shot, which is luck. Bad luck against you, good luck for him.
Yeah.
But I would say that the True Strike was an interesting choice. He could have also put. I like using the taunt on like key opponents, that monsters that were really powerful. Like this blast with the swiftness is going to get out of control and is part of why you lose.
Yeah.
Also, Jin Inferni drops that 5 bomb with the stun and was part of why you lose one. There's another kill right there because of it. And so if you just taunted there, I guess it had 9 speed. It would have been maybe hard to hit it. But anyways, I love this game.
Yeah. But I do appreciate the fact that he tried to do True Strike, because you can clearly see that with Jacek, and they've got and they had 2 like swiftness as well.
Mm-hmm.
3, I think, actually.
Yeah.
The True Strike was obviously like an important ability to have. But yeah, obviously got cleaned up there.
Crazy speed.
But yeah, no, I can never get in the 5,000. That's I play when I play, like I just have like so much on the Dejota account that like I really, in order to get the value out of it, I need like somebody who can play all the time. I play on my alts.
Okay, looking you up. 7 million power on the Dejota account. Do you have a max soulbound set?
Yeah, yes. Wait. Rebellion soulbound.
No.
Max.
Your comments.
I have max commons. Yeah, and I have some. I will. I think I will next season. I will
Yeah,
have max rears as well.
dude,
The epics and the legendaries are going to take a little longer.
looks good though. Looks real good. Ooh, you got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
good one. Galacus is like one of the, in my opinion, one of the better ones that you want to have for the
yeah, yeah,
four.
yeah.
It's like a little mini tank with the 4 mana. You know what I mean? With the shield and the
Dude, he's
taunt and
he's he's really good in
yeah,
range only too.
yeah, yeah. Ooh, Reaper. You got Reaper at 6. I love this.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wait, you gotta click on the gold. Click on the gold foils. The
These.
gold. Yeah, down, 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 down. Yeah, click on the gold. Oh wait, now go all the way down. Look at all the way to the right. Down to the right.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I can't believe it. I got so lucky.
Wow. So hang on a second.
Yeah.
Piercing, Rebirth, Divine Shield. The Rebirth with the Divine Shield is so awesome because you get another Divine Shield. And you get
Yeah.
the Redemption. What the? I don't have this card, or at least I don't have it anywhere near this level.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. So, so, like the first hit on her gets the divine shield, right? Then let's say she dies, you get the redemption. Then she gets rebirthed. Then she gets hits again. She gets the shield, and then she has to die again, and then she gets the redemption one more time.
Yeah. And I think you just said it, but the armor plus the hit point. So theoretically, this could hit it, take a shot. It's like a little
Yeah,
bit like the
yeah,
Rooney, but like even better.
yeah. She's only the second card in the game to have rebirth.
Hmm. Yeah, man, that's a good card.
So
That's one
yeah,
of.
I that was the one I got to share to the community too, which was cool.
Okay, you know what? We got to. There's so many things that we didn't talk about. We didn't even get
I know.
into. Let's spend some. What's your? Do you got to go soon? Like, what are you? Where are you at? Like, can we
No,
do?
I'm good. I'm good right now.
Cool.
I'm good right now.
What about you talked about the giant characters. Let's talk about that. That was
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I actually saw there was a comment in here about I think Aaron sent a comment at one point about like looking at the land giants. Oh yeah, yeah, there it is. I that comment there about um he made some edits to it, I guess. So
Hmm.
yeah, Aaron, I would love to see those. I am currently working on a version 2 of the Land Giants post that I made. And if you haven't seen it, you can just go to Peak D, look up Dejota. It's on there, and I use some AI and to come up with the images. But primarily, my thoughts around the Land Giants was a way to support Chaos Legion, because I am in the camp of believing that if we just let chaos roll into wild and we never do anything to like try to fix the mistakes of the past, I think that that's the wrong move. I think we need to like put a creative attempt into supporting the value of chaos before it moves to wild, um, without hampering any of the other parts of the economy, which that's the trickiest part. Like we can't put like we can't fix the mistake while hampering rebellion, or fix the mistake and hamper SPS. So my thought around it, no, oh, you know what? It's actually, you know what? It's not in there. I'm sorry. It's in Leo. That's what's
Yeah.
going on.
I
I
think
thought that they all went to all of them, but I don't.
you might have sent it to me
I'm
already.
still learning Hive.
Me too.
But anyway, so the premise behind it basically is each element will have a land giant, and yeah, if you go to in Leo land giant, it should in Dejota. Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, just send it to me tomorrow on Discord. That you could burn basically Chaos Legion cards and mint these new land giants that will give you a bonus to land. That's like the basic premise.
I'm super.
And you have to pay a little DEC to do it. So hopefully that helps out some of the land people that technically would be taking a little bit of the brunt of it. I got some really great comments too from Cryptomancer, Vuctus, a bunch of people to kind of like help that idea.
Okay, so I went to all posts, there's blog and there's all posts, and this is like on like
Oh, there it is.
subcategories.
Yeah. Okay.
This is like so because it's in Leo or Leo Finance, like within the Hive peak D, but then subcategory. So, anyways, here it is. I want to show the artwork like this. Is this just AI used or used generating?
Yeah.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It took me a little bit to kind of like figure it out, but like once I was able to figure it out, I was able to get it to copy basically the art from Splinterlands, and then it came up with its own rendition of what like the prompt was that I gave it. So I thought it was kind of cool.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the idea. I looked at this like week or two ago, or whenever you posted it first, because you sent it over and I just wanted to look at it. 20 mana, like you could play it in the game, but it would make very little sense. And
Yeah.
there's better cards for less mana. So you get like that one, it's like, it's got its function. It's got its function. It's not battle mechanic. I think long term, this makes so much sense for the game. You know what I mean? It's like, it's easy I would imagine, easy to do. You're essentially just creating a new ability that in land. And and a new card that is so easy to do. You did it. This is done. Like the artwork, you know what I mean? It's and so, and even the names. What do the names mean? Like where did you get this stuff? Like what is Draugr?
I just googled like Norse giants and I took their names and just kind of put them
I love
as
it.
best I could. I read their like descriptions. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was fun. And Cryptomancer even made a comment too that was like he said that like, oh, I like the idea that it's an ability because they could make land giants like with just that ability in the future, right? So that was kind of a cool idea too. But I did get some pushback and reasonable pushback in terms of in order to like for it to like make sense to put on your land, it probably needs its own like land giant slot because the PP and the numbers, like the math doesn't like always work out in certain situations. But like that's not like that doesn't seem like a big deal to me because like they already have a Rooney slot, like just add a land giant slot. So anyway, Cryptomancer seemed pretty positive about it, but again, like will the team do this? Will the team get to this? I mean, will they do this? Maybe. Will they get to this? It's definitely not happening this year. It could be a 2025 thing. Would be awesome.
Matt Clark, great post, and I like the incentive structure. If we're talking about burning Chaos Legion to give landholders a boost, could we not skip the middleman and burn cards to improve land without designing or managing cards? Well, probably, but it's like, you know, I really like the idea of getting a card. Like even
me too.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I said, but I want a card.
Yeah. From new player experience perspective, having cards in the market is deliberately unbalanced, could easily lead to newcomers with not understanding the main use. Interesting feedback. Dave McCoy, I love the general concept. I think definitely something that should be considered. While I haven't gone through the numbers, so I won't opine on those. I think the only two objections would be one, what are the ratios? Make sure the cards don't have unintended consequences. Yeah, totally. That was one piece that I didn't fully dive into when I read your post. Like I was like, I don't want to try and spend the time to wrap my head around the numbers and think through if the proportions made sense. It sounds like David's feeling this, but so cool. Like, where did you come up with it? This came from the idea that you don't want to just abandon chaos. You want to find some way to keep. Is that the soul nugget?
That was it. Yeah. Like I was trying to think about like, listen, we obviously overprinted chaos. Okay, everybody, like, it's been very clear that there's been a mistake around that. We overprinted it. We did it during a bull run. It is what it is. We can't change the past. What can we do without hurting a part of the economy to like lessen the amount of supply of chaos cards? Because right now, I truly believe that 30-cent chaos packs are hurting our economy in like all facets of it.
Yes.
So to me, like, hey, let's give people an option to like burn their chaos packs, like, and chaos cards for something of value for the future.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I want to pull on that thread you just laid out there. Your chaos 30-cent Chaos Legion packs are hurting the community. Well, some will think, oh, I mean, I don't care if chaos cards are cheap. I don't own any. Okay, but if you are interested in seeing your Splinterlands assets go up in value in a broader way, fuller way than what you maybe have seen, I pointed to some cards have gone up like alphas, but all cards go through a certain conversation. When people want to buy cards, they go through a certain conversation. It sounds something like, well, it sounds something like, if the card asset that I'm looking at have a certain valuation to utility, I need to ascertain whether or not there's anything else that will move the needle more meaningfully. I can't afford everything. I can only afford some. My limited number of assets in the real world mean that I can only have a limited number of assets in the game. So as I maybe pointed to or alluded to when we were talking about your purchase of the new Night Stalker or the Delia that you rented and I thought you bought, if for me, the conversation is like, well, $210 on a Night Stalker, or do I go in and you mentioned your friend bought Llama Kron or Scarred Llama is $210 for an amazing summoner, one of the best in the game. And so the same thing is happening there. I'm articulating, like, if $200 is what I'm talking about spending, what am I going to spend it on? And so how is that related to chaos cards? Well, if there's 30-cent pack somewhere, it means there's cheap legendary somewhere. And some of those cards are going to detract from the desirability of these other cards that we want to see go up in value or sustain value. Rebellion is one of the things I think many of the more recent players are hoping will kind of hold its value reasonably. Chaos threatens that a little because it's currently in modern. It's $600 or $700 to get a max chaos set. It's $1,000 to get a max rebellion set. If you want to do well in modern, you can just go around in a lot of ways. Not you want to be at the top of the top. If you want to play high in gold or even diamond, you can probably get around in modern because of that cheap access point with chaos. And so, yeah, it's a thing we shouldn't just give up on. It's a thing we shouldn't just abandon. And frankly, here's one last bull comment. I'm pretty convinced that chaos cards there won't be too many copies at some point in the future, because if the future I'm expecting for Splinterlands happens, there'll be player-based growth. And Gathering the Magic was hanging out in chat earlier. This is a good card, Void Dragon. There's 32 copies of it on. If there was even 100 new people that came in serious and wanted to buy that $700 chaos set they wouldn't do it. They couldn't do it. The prices would go up so quickly because there isn't enough supply on the market. Even though there's crazy numbers of these cards, most of them are not on the marketplace, and it would take time for them to get there. There would be, there's not enough supply, even with Chaos Legion, like long term. If this game's gonna stay here, what do you think about that?
I agree with you. I think if we get new players in, one of the first things they're going to do is they might see Rebellion first and maybe buy a couple of packs and maybe buy a couple of cards. But as they learn the ecosystem and they see that chaos is so cheap, they're going to be obviously attracted to that. And there's such an oversupply of it that it's going to take a lot of players to start moving that needle. And I'm seeing Gathering the Magic's comment in there too about chaos is overprinted. If we want 20,000 new players, what are they going to buy?
Yeah.
Reality is that when new players come in, we want to funnel them to the newest set. That's how the team makes money.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we are able to get more developers and keep expanding the game. We don't want a game where they're coming in and buying 30-cent chaos packs. That's not good for anybody.
Yeah. It was a mistake to print that many copies. And Woody says, I don't think it looks good seeing every other set sold 2 million and is holding value, and there is this set that sold 15 million and it's worth nothing. It just looks like a mistake. Truth is, it was a mistake. And now I don't think, I would be of the opinion that it's not the end of the world if it's left in that scenario, because I do think you just get to this place where, like, this happens. I'm exploring Pokemon cards now as a possible investment. I haven't pulled the trigger or anything, but just certain sets are more desirable because of maybe some of the chase cards that are in there, or because of, when they're issued or whatever. And so it just makes me think that we should probably help it. And I love ideas like your land giant. So cool. Like, why not? Like, yes, even if I felt it could fix itself in time, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't do a cool idea like that would probably push it in the right direction soon.
Yeah. I'm seeing a comment in there by Fat Jimmy. If you scroll down a little bit. Yeah, right here. Not sure if you said it already, but there are only 5,000 max Chaos Legion sets before we started burning Chaos Legion. I did not know that.
There's only 5,000
seems
max.
Crazy to me. I feel like we have like a few thousand players who must have pretty much max Chaos Legion sets at this point.
Let's look
crazy?
Let me go to Splinter cards here. Splinter cards is pretty interesting. Okay, so the value. Chaos.
So Fat Jimmy, if that's true, why is Chaos so cheap if we have a few thousand players? Like, what am I missing?
So, because if there's, well, if we go to the market, trying to like wrap my head around how I would capture some of that. Let's look at key summoners. These summoners are amazing. Quixodevious wins a lot, like above 500 win rate across thousands of, plays a lot. It works a lot. Not as good as the Lily Shield Pod. This is one of the best summoners ever created in this game. Win with it all the time. My data goes huge. Look at my Lily Shield Pod. 1,000 games played. We're at a 583 win record. That's crazy.
That's great.
So, great card. Very powerful. Currently in the Modern League. Desirable. Yet, 20,000 BCX of that thing ever printed. 7,700 cards left. So, to his point, even a card like this, which some of these cards, total cards, would be level 1 or level 3 or level 2. And so if there was never another Lily Shield Pod, right, only 7,700 accounts could have it. And I think we got to imagine a future where Splinterlands has 20,000 new real players. To me, that is, if this game's going to exist and thrive, that is a part of the necessary future. And some people feel that's unlikely, but they are bearish on the game generally. I'm bullish on the game. I think it's fun. I think it's rewarding. I think it's exciting. I think it seems great. I think you know what I mean? If you believe it's fun and has a future, the conversation around things like this, where Shield Paw is an amazing card, is one of the best summoners in the game, it's really dirt cheap. There's only 7,700 copies. I think we get 10 times that many players at some point in the future if this game goes where I think it. So, from that perspective, there isn't enough, which I think was the point that Jimmy was trying to make.
Yeah, that is the point he's trying to make. He's trying to say there's only 5,000 copies, max potential copies, and we get 5,000 people who want max copies, and that's it. I mean, you bring in. Look at this. It's not going to take a lot. It's not going to take a lot. Basically, what it's saying. I think right now it just feels like a lot because we, like he has mentioned, we don't have the player base to support that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We got you, Fat Jimmy. Clarify max Chaos Legion set possibly if all cards are combined to max. Yeah.
Look at this comment. Gathering says I could spend under $120 and buy all the fiends off the market. That's pretty wild. 44 cents a fiend. When Rebellion launched, I came in and sold like think I sold $1,500 in chaos cards. Might have. And I remember selling my fiends for around $1 because I wanted to sell everything that wasn't nailed down to get a little bit of extra cash to buy Rebellion because I thought they were powerful, and because their issuance was, you know, justified. So I took a little bit of an L, like I locked in an L on some of my chaos cards, which I paid a ton for those, and I moved it into some assets that I thought would have a, you know, better future. So yeah, this is a mess, and this is a gong show, and it shouldn't be this way. But to give a little bit of a break to the team, that was a crazy time when we went through that Untamed sold bull market moment, and we had 500,000 daily active accounts in Splinterlands, and you know the things, and DEC was like 20 times peg value or whatever crazy number it was. Things and our Amazon servers were crashing because we couldn't get enough, and we were spending, you know what I mean? Like, that was a wild moment. They did their best and they didn't know what to do. And frankly, we still sold 10 or 11 million packs. Should we have, imagine what would have happened if they came out and Chaos Legion had 2 million packs. We would have sold through those in the first 30 seconds of the sale. And then I don't know what would have happened. That might have been that. It's like an interesting what if moment. Like that is like a divergent moment that could have happened in history. I don't know what that would have done to the game, but I don't know that it would have been good. You look at access to play the game and people spending probably, you know, who knows, the rental cost would have been crazy. It's a whole different thing that never happened and it will never happen. But yeah, the team was under the gun, and that was a crazy time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was definitely a lot happening then. But I think I want to go back quickly to the chaos thing really quickly, as I saw that Fat Chimmy was making another comment there about. I'm curious as to like, there's this conversation around like potential mini set or going right to the next core set. And I think obviously if we do a mini set, that means Chaos Legion is going to stay in Modern for potentially another like 9 to 12 months. If we go to the core set, that means Chaos Legion is going to get moved out much quicker, right?
Yeah.
Now, if we do a mini set and Chaos Legion stays, that means there's a greater chance that we have more time to hit this bull run, bring in people, and it saves Chaos on its own just by bringing in more people. Like Jimmy was saying with the 5,000 max Chaos Legion decks. If it moves to Wild and we have another core set come in, then we're funneling all those people basically into like buying the new set and buying Rebellion. I go back and forth about whether we should do a mini set or whether we should go to the core set. I'm not entirely sure. I've heard a lot of great kind of like arguments from both sides, but where are you at with this?
Yeah. If I'm being honest, I don't really know yet. I haven't sat with it long enough, but let me try and get my bearings on it right now. Okay. If we do the mini set,
yeah,
then that's coming out like ASAP, right? Like this before the end of the year. Is that the vision?
I don't know if there's been a time frame set for it. I think they said in like early like Q1 of 2020.
Okay, so I mean, soon, real soon, and you know, in the middle of this minute, with Rebellion not really selling, I have to wonder, and the same thing, the problems that we pointed to with respect to Chaos Legion, because it is still now those will move. The Chaos Legion packs will lose some utility because they'll be moving out of Modern when that new, not when the mini set comes. So here's the problem: like we just pointed to the breadth of assets that are in the ecosystem that are, let's say, detracting from other assets. we're not, part of why we're not selling more Rebellion packs is because there's such cheap chaos sets and they're available and they play in modern. That's part of what's happening. And so if we release another mini set, what we're doing is I don't think we're setting up that mini set for, I think we're setting it up in the middle of a moment where SPS is still down, even though it's up, you know, almost double from low. EC is below peg, and chaos cards are still dirt cheap, and many people will prefer those for $500-$600 for a full set versus, you know, this mini set plus Rebellion. It's just too expensive. So I think that all points me towards one go to them. But no, I don't know if there's any but. I go, bring on. I think bring on the full next set. Make it. I think that's not as soon. That's probably 6 or 9 months away. Probably, I would think. But I think, yes, that has some ramifications that I'm not super stoked about. For instance, Chaos Legion that door will close, and that will be a frustration for some. We're going to be coming modern where they're in the game. Be kind of pushed. They might not enjoy the. So that's perhaps an unintended consequence. But here's the thing: more than anything, this is Jangles and Rogue talking about this, and I bet you feel the same. We need consistency. I don't care I don't care if it's mini set or if it's main set, but we have to set down in stone what the next 12 and 20 terms of power. It's too crazy to tell our community, you know, I hope you're excited whenever we get around to this next set. Like, no, man. Tell us, like, when is it coming? How much will it be? How many units? You should put all of this, like, guessing about stuff, changing it on the fly. That's part of why Chaos Legion had 15 million. Like, set in stone, there's just 2 million packs. Set in stone, it's every year for every other year. Set in stone, there's, you know, X number of promos within a 12-month window, etc. I think that is going to lead to a greater thriving for a piece of it. Because how frustrating would it be? Let's say we get a huge influx of new players in the next weeks or months. How frustrating would it be for them? They buy these crazy cheap chaos cards, hoping in the hopes of fighting in modern. Then they learn the hard way, hundreds of dollars down the drain. They get their player. Cut it. I just think distance 30, we've been so good at those things. This is one space or way that we are provide clarity. Inconsistent. That's not.
Yeah, I think I actually liked how it worked with Rebellion this time around though. Like what I think it was like 10 million, and then they just like burned up to like 25,000 packs per day.
Yep.
And you can clearly see that Rebellion's going to end up being like a really tiny set. So I like the way that they did that. But in terms of like consistency, like with like this is when the next set's going to come out, I would love to like be able to plan for that. I totally agree. I also want to say that like I think I'm leaning towards like no mini set. I think it's best for the ecosystem to move chaos to wild at this point. I still wish though that there would be some sort of like burning event for chaos to help and support it.
Yeah.
Like even if like hey guys, this is what we tried, it worked or didn't work. We tried something to like kind of support this set before it moved to wild. But I do think moving chaos to wild and out of modern sooner the better. I believe that Rebellion is such a small set, and then that we are going to see people in modern with Rebellion cards start playing ranked battles, and I think that SPS per win is going to go up significantly. And I think people are going to be like, oh wow, look what you can do in modern. I should start buying Rebellion. I should start buying that next core set. I think that's going to have like a domino effect. Like it's going to be a big deal when you see those SPS wins, because right now, like you said earlier, you can play bronze, silver, gold, diamond with just chaos and for very cheap. But when chaos moves out, guess what? All those people that are taking the SPS, they're going to be gone.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, look, this is Night Stalker and work. You know, you're 100% right, and I think that's a big place. That's going to be a big shift in a lot of people's approach to the enjoyment of the game. It's not all going to be positive reaction. I think, that'll be our response to that shift. Better, more enjoyable. Favorable. Our response will be more favorable if we're able to line. And I think even if we get crazy growth, like I could imagine us saying, we're gonna offer 2 million packs, or maybe it's 10 million packs with the same burn mechanic. That's the thing every time now. Maybe it's working out with Rebellion. But you might argue, I could make an argument like, no, we just do 5 million packs. That's it. Yes, there's a burn mechanic in there, but we don't ever want like another chaos set. This is a bit of a digression. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. I want to stay on your topic of mini or no mini. I guess I'm saying no mini, and it gets me spinning down this whole thought of like, what is the best approach? I almost don't care what the approach is. Just want pathway or a forecast across time. If it's going to be the same as Rebellion with the 10 million with a burn mechanic, great. I want that every 24 months or every 12 months even. And I want to know how many promos. If it's going to be a mini set or no mini set, it seems like there's been a mini set every time. Tamed had base, Chaos had Rift. Feels like mini sets now, but I don't know, man. Chaos is. I say no mini. What is the chat saying?
Oh, I think they're mostly saying no mini.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. They said my mic's acting up. Paul, mic going in and out on you, Dwayne.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's see. What's my?
I heard you just fine the whole time. That's weird. I do see that Fat Jimmy's making a comment about the price tag being too high, saying that it needs to be cheaper.
The price tag on packs?
Yeah. Rebellion packs at $4. They're not selling because of the price tag. Which I think is accurate during a bear market, not as accurate during a bull. But I think it's a fair point.
Yeah. This is the problem. We're planning our game, and we have to take into consideration bull markets and bear markets. Like it's like this is different than any other game. Like when Blizzard releases a new title, they don't care, right? There's no financial world economic considerations. It's just like, no, we release a game and hopefully you buy it. But we do have to think about the bull market will transform the sales. The bear market will undermine the sales. Yeah. Mindset crazy. Mini set crazy idea. I will sell for sure. The game will come back to its glory as soon as overprinting of cards stops. I think that's I probably agree. If there was a scarcity of card asset, like if you just said 2 million packs, I don't care how fast they sell. That's all we're ever gonna do for every set ever. And maybe we'll do a set every year if it just blows out, like if it's absolutely gobbled up. I bet that would drive demand in a way and price appreciation on cards in a way we haven't seen in this game in years. But I don't think there's an appetite for that because that would mean people would say whales and they're all benefit. It's only for whales, and like the little guy doesn't get a bite, and you're always gonna PO somebody, no matter
Yeah.
what you do.
But the overprinting is Chaos Legion and
Yeah.
the Chaos Legion rewards cards. I mean, that's what the overprinting is. Rebellion right now is not overprinted. They're doing it right now.
What if though, hypothetical, but
Yeah.
imagine Rebellion, there was 10 million packs that were possible, and
Yeah.
SPS, and like we rewind time and SPS had a bull market moment at
Yeah.
some point in there, and you go, we've sold 8 million packs of Rebellion, 8 out of the 10
Yeah.
that were possible, and then SPS and DC and everything goes into his flywheel. This might take a long time for me to make my point, but just imagine bear market, like long story short, terrible bear market. And I think you probably would then say we sold too many Rebellions, but the real issue is bull market, bear market.
I wouldn't say that.
No?
So Chaos was overprinted, not necessarily because of the bull market. It was overprinted because the crazy discounts that was given on Chaos for bulk purchases. It was like, I think one of the sales was like 50% off, something like that. I mean, I bought some. So Rebellion hasn't had that type of discount. So if we sold 8 million at pretty much the price tag, I mean, then we have a community that was able to afford that amount, which would lead me to believe that we have the player base at that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, Christmas sale, bulk buys, DC discounts, like sale. Yeah, and Chaos Legion. Well, and there's the airdrops where, the more you get, the more airdrops you're going to get. So you're right, there were incentives that skewed the sale of Chaos Legion beyond what people wanted. And that is almost the question. It's like, are the incentives aligned in a way where you are desiring more than you even want? That's bad. And Matt's corrected on that.
Yeah, he has. And again, the airdrops were, back then it was like the more you bought, the more airdrops you got, but you didn't need to hold the pack or the cards or whatever. And everybody was just dumping them because you were getting the airdrops no matter what you did with the cards.
There's so many good conversations out here. I just want to take I got to wrap in like at least next 9 minutes. My throat's starting to hurt a little. I got another chat tomorrow, but so many good comments. Like that Jimmy with the great comments. Jangles out there talking about glamour. What do you guys think about prioritizing glamour now versus some of the other meaningful, more necessary bits and pieces we talked about today? Guilds, cards, syncs, etc. Yeah. That's, I do feel, and I don't know if you agree, Dejota, I feel like if we're concerned about runway, as Matt appears to be, or the team appears to be, I don't want to be messing around with things that they feel are incidental. I want to cut to the core of what we think could move the needle. And I don't know what that means exactly. I don't have an idea in front of me. I'm just saying, a new player experience is important. Land is important, but I don't know. How do you feel about that? Priorities. Where are we going?
I do love this question from Jangles here, but it's kind of like with a chicken or the egg kind of scenario here, because the term like more meaningful and more necessary, that's incredibly subjective. We know that the team needs money right now, and doing glamour, which is cool, I think likely can bring in some revenue to the team. To be able to do some of these other things, like guilds and card syncs, give them the capacity to do some of these other things. Now, as a player that's been in the game for a long time, I would love these other things first. I would love to see an overhaul of guilds, and be able to do this card sync and all these other like cool things, like other game modes and the kitchen table mode, like all these other cool things I would love to see. But reality is that the team needs some revenue right now, and I think in order to get to those other things, we're gonna have to do glamour, and add a little spice to our cards and pay for it.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting too about glamour? We've talked a lot. In fact, I've talked a lot about how other games offer things like this, and it's this mechanism for revenue generation. Like I talked maybe a year or two ago when who was Weirdbeard was still here and doing things and covering so much. And I remember talking about how like Apex Legends sells me a $10 or a $20 season pass every 3 months or whatever it is, and that is money that the team just takes, and all they give me is like some in-game currency that buys me a skin, like, or one new character or whatever. And you could give me anything, and I would probably be on board with that because I love this game. Now the battle pass, not battle pass, is that what it's called? Yeah, the battle pass is like a little bit of that, but it's so nothing at all. Like 2,000 DEC, who cares? I guess what I'm saying is glamour to me feels like an answer to the thing we've been asking for a long time. Not just me, but like a lot of our community, they want, just give us a battle pass, give us, let us buy, like, give you money. Let us, like, we would do it. And it feels like glamour is like actually the activation of that reality. And yet we're like, well, maybe not. Like, you know what I mean? Like the community always does. If we say we want focus, like get land done, and now they're focusing on land, and we're like, well, wait a second. New player experience. Well, hang on a second. That we're so fickle a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, we are fickle. But I'm seeing comments in here too, like Fat Jimmy and Vajankle still about like, listen, yeah, like I've seen those posts too about how guilds are gonna bring in are like bring in the retention of the new players. And no, glamour is not gonna bring in new players. Like that's just not gonna be reality. There are some other things I think will bring in, like, and retain new players, but how do we get to those things? We have limited resources right now.
Yeah.
And we can't just keep giving. The DAO is not going to have money, like it's not infinite amount of money. But yes, I think it would be great if we were able to do an overhaul of guilds. I'll say it again. I think it would be awesome. But right now the reality is that the team needs money. We are going to do glamour to help support that, I believe.
Yeah. If I could snap my finger and make one thing, like one new game development happen, it would be more around guild. One thing that I've heard about for years that would be so exciting to see would be some sort of like DAO within the guilds, meaning like a card collection that we could all pour into that is collective. There's different ideas about this. Would be, I saw Tales from the Cryptmancer just did a video, and he talked about how maybe we all burn DCX in this altar, and it's this shrine, and it empowers your team in certain ways. Yeah, anything like that, where there's this idea of like this, like I don't even think burning is necessary. I think you could do, it's almost a vault where we can collectively store cards, the barracks, some sort, and the players new to guild, new to the team can like borrow these on a select basis. There's so many things you could do, I would think, because of what blockchain unlocks, that would drive so many cool opportunities for community-driven connection, team building, for greater fun and greater joy. By the way, it's another sink for DEC, because you're going to make me spend DEC probably on like buying the guild building, I would think. It costs DEC, doesn't it, to buy guild buildings? No, it's... Yeah, DEC.
Well, yeah, you can use DEC to
so
get the guild.
I know that's not a direct benefit to the team. So if there's one piece of like, what about the team and their money, and there's a separate piece of like, what about us and the game player experience? To me, if I could snap my finger, I'd be more concerned about how would we make this more fun. And I think the one piece that I've wanted for a long time is just more with guilds. I think that one building, something like that would be so well received, I think.
I agree with you. I think it would be, I mean, guilds would be amazing. And I think it's like, Um, to me, glamour is like a band-aid, whereas guilds would bring, I think, would retain new players, and that's ultimately what we want. We want to bring in new players because then new players spend money,
Mhm.
and then the team gets money that way, right? Um, what guilds, and I saw a comment in here too that like the guilds are fine for right now. They're fine for right now, but like they could be a lot better. And the reason why they're so sticky is because of the social aspect. You feel like when you join a guild, you feel like you're part of a community at that point. And that part is tricky because until you get into like a Discord group or something like that with your guild, chatting in the in-game chat is just not, it's not a great experience.
Yeah,
And being
no,
able to kind of see your like guild mates like brawls and in battles and stuff like that, it's just not a great experience.
yeah, it's super like it's bad. It's downright bad. Like you go into your brawls and it's yeah, it's just it needs a lot of work, and it needs like this conversation piece. Like nobody uses it. Nobody.
Yeah.
You gotta be in Discord, and you gotta, and that's a shame because not everybody wants Discord. Not everybody even knows what Discord is. So you're telling me in order to enjoy the guild brawl experience and the community that being a part of a guild might, I have to not only have the game investment in the game, I also have to understand these other pieces of technology like Discord. I remember I didn't know what Discord was before I started with Splinterlands. Now I'm in there all day,
Mhm.
every day. But you know, it would be great if there was an amazing communication system in this system. It would be great if I could send you a like right in game. I could be like, "Hey, Dejota, what's up? Like, you wanna hop on a game or you wanna hop on a live
Yeah.
right here?"
Yeah. 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 Or I could go watch your like game and like I could like click on an emoji or something
Yeah,
like a big thumbs up thing or something.
yeah,
Or like, there's got to be like all these like little things that you could do
yeah.
to
Imagine
make it more interactive.
when you go into Discord, you can see like your friend list, and if my friend is playing like Diablo, like it'll say playing Diablo or whatever, and I could like imagine if it was like I come in my friend list. Like Dahota's in a match right now, and I can go
Yeah.
click on it and like just actively watch the match that you're fighting, and you know, in a different world, like commentate too. By the way, like the live comments, like hey, like you know, don't put it in the fifth spot, put it in the sixth, like you know, anything you can imagine. So much greater improvement there, and I do think that would be maybe some of those are bigger fish and some of them are smaller fish. I just think
Mhm.
this would be I agree with I think Jangles, Fat Jimmy. This is probably a piece that we would find more fruit in terms of stickiness, in terms of player joy, and therefore probably long-term attractiveness and growth. I would think, than probably glamour. But we we asked for those things too, and I want those things too. And the problem really is it's not does one idea bad and the other good. It's like Splinterlands is now a big ship, and navigating the waters. It's hard to turn, like you start turning and you wait 3 weeks and you've begun turning, and it's like then there's a town hall and then there's all these questions with pushback and there's this, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
there's so many cooks in the kitchen and desires that we sometimes we gotta just step back and be like, this is our team, Matt and Co. We believe in them, and we just ride it till the wheels fall off,
Yeah.
or until moon mission.
Yeah. To like, I know you need to go, but like, the bottom line is like you and I have been in Splinterlands for a long time, and like, we met in person, like we're friends. We never interact with each other in the game.
Hmm. Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? We never.
yeah, yeah. That's a bad sign, isn't it?
Well,
Those-
I mean, it's a room for growth. Like
yeah,
that's like an obvious room for growth. And like all these people in the chat, like I never interact with any of these
yeah,
people in the chat, but I interact with them on X, on Discord, in here and YouTube, like it, but never in game unless you randomly like happen to match up against them.
yeah,
And then you have to go to Discord to like say something about
yeah, yeah. You're right. And
So,
so I definitely think there's like, this is a strong consideration for future aim. I think right now it's not going to happen. Cryptomancer is probably going to focus on land. And I think that is important for many reasons we talked about before. And he's already got his hands on that. So that's probably, you made that point. I like that point. He's been diving into it for a few weeks or months. That would be to now pull him away and be like, okay, but Guild Brawls would be like a whole now, like, okay, I got to put my head in that and like get my bearings in there. And there's probably all kinds of UI and, you know, that would be a big hiccup. So I don't know, man. You know, I want all things and I want them now, right? That's the truth. And, and we're not going to get it. We just like the budget for Splinterlands isn't infinite. The budget for the team and their development isn't infinite. Time is limited. Money is limited. We're going to work on A and then we're going to move to B and we're going to move to C and hopefully they make the right calls along the way. But yeah,
let's hope so.
My throat's hurting and it's been 2 hours. Dude, thanks for the amazing conversation.
Let's call it, man.
Did we tackle most of the things that you were hoping to get into tonight?
Yeah, for sure, man. This is great.
Yeah. I hope you'll come back soon. This was great. I really enjoyed it. And to the chat too, guys, you're awesome. Most 13 people here till the very end, 20 people there the whole time kind of thing. You guys are awesome. What an amazing conversation. Special shout out to Jangles and Fat Jimmy who really pushed the needle at the end there. Gathering, still hanging out, I think from day one, moment one. Paul, thank you. The members in particular. Who else did I see from? Oh, Eli was here earlier. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting the channel and thank you for hanging out tonight. And guys, check out Dejota on X, Dejota_SPS. and yeah, hopefully you'll come back, you know, like next month if you've got time. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, do it.